Hey everyone, welcome back to Disc Golf Valley Players Tour practice round. Jumping in here for Harrowing Woods. We had week 2 this last weekend. I'm probably not going to post those rounds up. You guys saw my practice rounds going through. I was managed to place top 50, which is good enough for me there. Here is typically an accurate glide sapphire on hole 1 here. With this wind, I'm going to take it down to accurate roll a little bit. Default aim with that wind, again, a straight pullback is getting you there right next to the basket. See if I can do one more with a neutral wind for you guys, show you something a little bit more typical. And that's that 3 wind again. If I get a 1 wind or 2 wind, okay, 3 wind, accurate glide sapphire, just get the angle. I've never actually hit that big rock, so jinx it there. You might get lucky kicking off that tree or that rock in order to get up close to the basket. One last time for a 1 wind. There we go. 1 wind. Just about a full disc of hyzer. Maybe a little bit more there. It's hard to get in trouble up here. Worst case scenario is you have a pretty close around the world or rotate the world putt in order to get that into the basket. So hole 1, basically default aim, accurate glide sapphire. Let's move on to hole 2. There'll be people running aces on all these holes. I won't be. I don't have the lines. I'm not going to miss. If I have this right to left wind, I take the accurate glide sapphire just a little bit to the right and pull it back to get up here around the corner. I'm not worried too much hitting these rocks. You're going to be there in order to get that throw in, or the putt if we get here in this case. Try one more, show you my different line if I have a neutral wind or a left to right. Here's a neutral wind. I take the accurate glide sapphire again. I slide left, top chevron at the bottom of this lantern, and about that much hyzer. Or it's not that much anhyzer. Gets me up to the basket. I feel a little more comfortable with a slow slide coming up. Here's probably the worst case scenario, getting behind that pillar. You still have a putt. Disc down if you get a lot of tailwind. If you get a lot of headwind, the accurate glide sapphire is probably still going to get there just fine. Moving to hole 3, slide right, and I take the accurate glide warship. Just bend it here around the corner. There's definitely an aggressive line. For me, it's with the accurate roll sapphire right up the gut. But going to the Players Tour where every stroke makes a huge difference, it's just a very simple slide right with the warship and just bend it slowly around that tree. Not trying to really get aggressive, just get up there and putt in range, and you're going to be able to tap that in. Let's move on to Harrowing Woods hole 4. On 4, this is an ace run every time. My typical ace run in a 1 wind is put this middle chevron right on the lantern that's out there in the distance with the accurate wind fuse. And a straight pullback. Is it going to go first time? Nice. So that's the idea. There's small wind adjustments to make along the way, but if you're uncertain, you put the middle chevron on that lantern, you line it up for a potential ace run. On 5, I'm going to slide left with the accurate glide sapphire, aim right at that tree, and put just a little bit of anhyzer on it. That's enough to get around that tree and get up here to the green for a throw-in. Really a very straightforward hole with the accurate glide sapphire. It has enough distance to get up there and should be an eagle that you're getting every time here. Moving on to hole 6, you got to get through this keyhole. My play is with the the glide roll rive, slide right, and the middle chevron right in the middle of that opening. Be very careful to have a straight pullback. And see, we should get through that opening. Hitting the right side is okay. This is kind of a pretty worst case scenario, as ended up here for about a 90-footer, and it's raised up, so I'm going to throw it about 100 feet of power in order to get that one in. Shouldn't be too many not getting eagles on this one. I'll go one more time to show that aim point. It's a slide right, middle chevron in the middle of the opening, and a straight pullback. If you play the wobble a bit, you might get be able to time it to get this through the gap. For me, it's whether I get lucky and get through the gap or not. It's consistent enough that I don't really worry about playing the wobble getting through there. All right, let's move on to Harrowing Woods 7. Harrowing Woods, you're seeing, should be a pretty straightforward, I think minus 11 or minus 12. I haven't really looked at how many good eagles there should be there. This is Accurate Glide Sapphire on the spider tree. This top chevron goes right on the side of this kind of light bump on the hillside. And a straight pullback will slide you up there for the birdie. If you want to figure out an ace run here, that's going to be probably something with a skip sapphire or a skip disc will get there. Give you a chance at it. But I'm happy to take that birdie and move on here. Hole 8, it's the Accurate Roll Musket for me off the tee. I try to keep the height exactly the same and slide to the left. That straight pullback should be up around this hill, and I want to ideally be 200 feet out. This is going to be a bit closer than my ideal, 180. I like 200 feet out because then this is basically Sunshine Glade 1. This 180, in this 2 tailwind, realistically I'm not confident in getting this nicely at 180, so in the Players Tour I'll lay it up. But here I'll give it a shot for you guys, see if we can get that in there. And this is exactly why we lay that up in the Players Tour, if you're uncertain of that throw-in. So for the layup, it's really just aim it to the right side and take a little bit more power off. Very easily slide up there to take that birdie. This is definitely a bonus eagle if you're going to get it within the game or within the Players Tour. If you're taking birdie there, you're gaining stroke, or not gaining strokes necessarily, but you're moving forward and not losing strokes, which is important. Try one more time there, just to the left. See if I can get 200 feet out, which is right next to this rock. Is kind of ideal for me. As long as I'm not blocked by the one tree coming in. Here's 200 feet. And with that tailwind, I'm going to aim it right on the basket and aim this just like I would with Sunshine Glade 1 in this tailwind. Still a little bit off. I felt a lot more confident there, though, that I'm going to get here close to the basket for the birdie. So the key there off the tee, don't try to get as close as you can. Try to get consistent as you can. Consistent 200 feet, then you know your power. On 9, this is the Glide Water Skip Rive. Wind Glide Rive would work too. It's a slide left and put the bottom chevron just above the gap in the trees there. I pull us with a straight pullback with that wind, and through this gap nicely land you into the first fairway here. If you get a little bit pinched off in the trees, you still have a lot of play available. 396 and a little bit of headwind has a glide roll rive, and it's up and over the top here to get to the green for a pretty easy eagle. This is one that really should be an eagle 95+% of the time that you're playing it. I'll play this one through one more time so you can see those lines, get in and practice them, and should be able to get you the at least -12 come through Harrowing Woods. That wind was really helpful, keeping me to the left. Here with the one wind, I do want to add just a little bit of Anheuser to this as it comes out of my hand to make sure I don't get too pinched off in, well, these trees that I'm headed for right now. Most of the time you can sneak through there clean. If you fall short, you might have to do a little bit of scrambling to get up there and save the birdie. I'm not sure if I'm going to hit this tree when I come out of here. Let's find out. Nope, did not hit that tree. But I should still get up here and be able to be close enough for the throw-in for an eagle. Now, these trees around the green used to not have collision. They do in one of the recent updates, so you do got to be aware of getting too deep inside those and not having to look at the basket anymore. All right, there's your plan for the kind of worry-free 12 under on Harrowing Woods. Good luck to the rest of you all, to everybody there in the Players Tour. Stay bogey-free.